Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie. At the end of the last episode, we went ahead and hit that switch on this giant crane, which allowed the cage to be raised off of the Jiggy. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can beat the clock, and I think I might have missed it. Just kidding, we got it anyways. Very nice. I was actually afraid that thing was going to fall right. Man, look how close that was. Holy cow, that's what I was afraid of right there. Fortunately, yeah, there's the cutscene where it actually brings it back down. Fortunately, I believe even if you technically miss that by like a second or two, as long as you're underneath, like as long as you make it underneath that cage, or that box or whatever, you still get the Jiggy. I believe that's how it works. That's how it's worked every time I've done it. So take my word for it, because I guess I know what I'm talking about for the most part. But anyways, we're gonna continue on, avoid this boombox. As he is, I guess, very excited. He wants to explode all over the place. But we're going to go ahead and actually head over here, because there's actually a mumbo token above this nasty toxic waste. Like, this place is like literally like pollution to the max. Like, I know it's an industrial area. It's probably like right next to a factory or whatever. But I mean, come on, look at this. Somebody needs to really, I guess, keep this a lot more safer. So I don't know. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on. We're not going to ask too many questions. We don't know who works here. We're just here to collect some stuff and go about our business. So let's see if we can go ahead and collect these notes up here. I actually did not get these the first time I was over here. We want to make sure we avoid Snacker down below, of course, as he could snack on our booty. We do not want that to happen. Let's see what we can do here. We're going to move right along. And here we go. What we want to do now is we actually want to go ahead and feed some more eggs into this hole, and that will allow us to create another path. So I do like the idea of having these little toll sections where you essentially have to pay a fee of eggs in order to pass. I kind of like that idea. It just makes it a little bit more interesting, and it's very creative. But now we're in this little, whatever this thing is, this little metal box. We have some stuff to collect in here. There's a few notes in here we need to make sure we grab. And there may be some other things of interest as well, but I think for the most part it is notes. Go ahead and avoid these grilled champas, and there's actually a mumbo token right over there. The mumbo tokens are pretty, pretty hidden in this game. They're actually, the placement of the mumbo tokens, this is where it starts to get a lot more spread out, and you have to kind of really think about where some of these collectibles are, and you really have to look for them pretty thoroughly, especially in this world. And this is like, we have one more world left, so this is where the collectibles are definitely well hidden, so you have to be very vigilant. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and see if we can now grab these notes. And right there's another mumbo token. We'll go ahead and collect that, take care of these grilled champas, and we will get our last note. I believe that's everything in here. So yeah, this is another part of the world where it can get kind of tedious. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything in here. And I think another reason why I dislike this world compared to some of the others is because there's a lot of different areas to, there's so many different places to look and check for collectibles, and they're just not as fun to explore. The last world, we at least had a giant haunted mansion, which was pretty cool. We had a lot of portraits to look at, a lot of Easter eggs that were hidden in the world. And this one, we're literally just exploring this big ol', essentially a bunch of junk, located in this little industrial area. So it's not quite as enjoyable to explore, but regardless, we are going to 100% the game, so we have to make sure we check every nook and cranny. We have another boombox here, so we want to make sure we do not set him off. A tactic I actually like to use is to try to get my eggs to hit him from afar. That way they will explode if you do hit them with eggs from a distance. Or if you just let them run their little energy out, they will get, so excited that they essentially have a meltdown and they blow up. But let's see if we can actually hit this one. Go ahead and poop the eggs out of Kazooie's rear, as odd as that is, to destroy that TNT dynamite. Because what better way to do it than to poop eggs at it? That's the strategy I always like to take in life. But anyways, enough of my weirdness. We're going to go ahead and see if we can collect that extra life. So you're actually awarded an extra life for destroying all those boomboxes in here. So kind of nice. This whole area is optional, but It's kind of cool that they throw those little extra rewards at you, even though, I mean, you really don't need any extra lives in this game. Maybe for the last world, but we're not quite there yet, so. We're gonna go ahead and actually jump in this middle one now because we have to enter from the top since the opening had a little opening up there. And I'm not sure what's in here. We have a grublin down below, actually a few of them. Wow, oh hi. I love how those guys just greet you, like they're here to cause us a lot of trauma and pain sent from the Wicked Witch herself, but they're always very, you know, happy to see us, I guess. They're always very much, most of the enemies are very happy to greet you, except even, I guess if they weren't there to cause us pain, it would be a little bit more of a warm welcome. But we're going to go ahead and scope the rest of this place out. I think that's all that's in here, other than this Jinjo hiding right back here. I almost forgot about this one, actually. That is the blue Jinjo just hiding back here. This is probably one of the more difficult Jinjos to find. So exploring back on top of the rusty bucket, we actually want to jump up on these pile of boxes where we will find this TNT crate like we saw earlier. So if we actually climb the rope that it is attached to, as you can see, we have another crane to work with here. And right here is a grunty switch. So we're going to see if we can land it. Very nice. We'll go and hit that. And that will make another Jiggy appear back in the layer, and I think I actually remember where that is, not too far from the entrance of where we are now. But try not to die here. Of course, I took damage still. So getting back on the TNT crate, you want to go ahead and climb this rope, and similar to what we just did before, we want to go ahead and walk over to the top of this crane and actually get down below where those up and down buttons are, because of course we want to go ahead and do the same thing here, except we're hitting the down button instead of the up button. Go and collect those notes, about 3/4 of the way done with that, and that'll drop the big crate of TNT dynamite onto that big gaping door that we kind of figured we could open eventually with that TNT. It was pretty obvious. We just kind of had to figure out what to do to drop it. We're gonna go ahead and actually open this path up now, just for the sake of easy transportation around the world. And that'll open another path, a little more zigzag, so it's a lot more narrow. And then this one has a total of 8. We'll go ahead and feed the eggs in this. And that will open another narrow path. But if we actually continue all the way at the end of this path, as you can see, there is an orange Jinjo sitting all the way over here. And this guy actually has a reason to not want to move, because he's surrounded by these crazy grilled chompas, very creepy, scary things. So I kind of don't blame this one for not wanting to try to escape. Back on top of the crane, we actually want to go ahead and jump right down where the dynamite blew up that door. And we will now be sent into another portion of the rusty bucket. We are now inside of the ship once again. And like I said, I love the idea of exploring both the outside and inside of the ship. But now it is time for a boss fight. Who dares enter Boss Boombox's hold? I've hidden my jigsaw. You'll never get it. All right, so we have a little bit of a mini boss here. So this is Boombox Boss. So this guy is essentially the giant version of the Boombox enemies in this game. He is going to take a lot more hits to take down, and the whole gimmick of this guy is he essentially multiplies into multiple boxes. So the more damage that this guy takes, he will then divide into smaller and smaller boxes. So of course he'll start off by dividing it into 2 boxes, and then those boxes will divide into, I think, 2 more boxes that are even smaller. And then once you get all the boxes down to their small forms, you essentially are done. And that is pretty much all there is to this fight. Now this fight can be a little aggressive. I do recommend using the of course Kazooie's blue egg attack. Taking them out with the eggs can be the easiest method, and you have a lot more range in your attack, so you don't have to necessarily be right up face to face with them. However, the eggs will run out pretty quick, as they do take several to be broken up. So once you have enough boxes pretty much broken up, it's pretty much safe to go ahead and just directly attack them. I usually use Kazooie's Rat-a-Tat-Rap attack, as again, you have a lot more range in that attack. You can of course use Banjo's rolling move, that'll work as well. But those are kind of the main attacks and abilities I would recommend, since it's the safest without taking as much damage. Arrgh, you splintered me, take this. I didn't want it really. That gives us another Jiggy. Very nice. We are over halfway done with Rusty Bucket Bay. I do love the idea of having more boss fights in the game. Again, this was something that actually wasn't utilized a lot in this game, but the sequel to this game actually did utilize it a lot more. So there's a lot more boss fights in the sequel to this game. I just wish they kind of included more in this game. But regardless, it was nice while it lasted, but we are the champions there. So we're going to take our prize and move right along to the next thing. So going back over here, we're going to go ahead and explore more. We have a few more things to do. Obviously, we have some more Jiggies to find. So right now, we're actually going to go ahead and go back to land, where we have some other things to find on the other side of the map. So we actually did not explore over this section yet. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. There's actually a couple things left to find over here. As you can see, there's another boombox. And these guys are literally just spread out throughout these, this entire place. And again, I don't know why. And I know it's an industrial area with a lot of toxic waste. And this is where they keep a lot of waste and stuff like that. But I feel like having dynamite is very, I guess, not safe to have around. A lot of like waste and potentially flammable like liquids. I don't know. That's just me. If you look down this crate, you'll see a purple Jinjo that is crying for help. So of course that signals us to go ahead and swim under there and help it. However, the catch, of course, is the water is of course very oily. So we are going to lose air the moment we touch the water. But we'll go ahead and move as quickly as possible. That will give us the last Jinjo, which of course will reward us with another Jiggy. And now it's time to swim the heck out of here like our life depends on it, because quite literally, and right in this instance, it actually does. All right, so with 2 air bubbles left, we're going to go ahead and go back to land. And silly enough, I totally forgot to grab this Jiggy that was left to us by Snorkel for helping raise the anchor. I totally forgot about that, so I went ahead and grabbed that. Now back on the ship, we actually want to go to the back of the ship, and you can actually travel in this pipe right here. This will put you into another location. As you can see, we have some grublins, or I think just one. And we have some more notes here. We're actually almost done with the notes. However, you will see a switch with a fan symbol on it. We want to go ahead and hit that. And that will slow down the fans over in that room. And that's a room we've yet to explore. So we're actually going to have to go head in there next, actually. All right, so back towards about the middle of the boat, you want to actually break open this window, because I actually forgot to go in here. And you will find some more notes in here. And this is actually the control room of the boat. So this is actually one of my favorite rooms, as well as the kitchen. We'll take care of these grublins, kind of get these guys out of our way. But I guess these guys are the ones that are, I guess, in charge of the control room. So we're gonna go ahead and actually jump on this, because I love the way these machines look. As you can see, it's a very nice little replica of a control room of an actual boat. They have the map and everything laid out literally like right here on the walls. I kind of like this little detail they go here. A lot of detail went into this game, more than I even realized, even like playing through it just recently. And I love the fact that they go out of their way to kind of show these little, you know, nitty-gritty details that you normally wouldn't see in a game like this, especially that was released back in the late 90s. So it's kind of nice to see all these, like, you know, details. Like, look at all these lights. Like, I mean, this was like the N64 era, man. Like, look at this. Looks like something you would see in like a modern game, but like obviously not quite, you know, obviously more limited in the graphics. But nice to see that. I don't think there's anything in this little window here, so we'll go ahead and head back out and move on to the next thing. I'm actually gonna go ahead and grab this golden feather in this little boat, because we actually need to replenish our count. That's always nice to have more golden feathers. So heading back over to the front of the boat where the numbers were, we actually missed a note right there. So I want to go ahead and grab that before I forget it, because of course I'll have to come back to it later regardless. But now it is time to head to the center of the Rusty Bucket, where we will find our very last part of the world. So this is where the last 2 Jiggies are going to be found. We're actually going to want to break open this door, down here, and this passage is small enough for us to enter. Take care of that grilled champa, and we will actually make our way all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to take care of that one as well. We want to go ahead and climb all the way down here. We have another beehive. I don't necessarily think I need that, so I'm going to go ahead and just ignore him. But if we jump up into this little crevice up here above the doorway, before we proceed, we will find an empty honeycomb, and that is the second one of the world. So we have all the honeycombs collected. It is now time to round things off with the rest of the notes, mumbo tokens, and the last 2 jiggies. So this room right here is straight up HE double hockey sticks. Yeah, this is the part of the world where I think most people had PTSD as a kid. I know I certainly was one of those people. As you can see, we are platforming over a bunch of turning gears, a bunch of rotating little tubes here, cylinder type things, and of course we have a bunch of fans because we are essentially in like the engine room of the Rusty Bucket. But as you can see, there are tons of collectibles that are waiting for us to collect them. So we have to go ahead and actually collect everything in here. There is a strategy I like to use, but for the most part, not falling off and dying is pretty much all luck based. Like, you pretty much are going to have a hard time unless you time your jumps and your movements almost perfectly. So let's see if we can actually go ahead and jump in and get this mumbo token. I'm probably going to take quite a fall here. I'm already expecting an early death. Oh, okay. I don't know how I did that, but I did it, and that's all that matters. I don't know if I've ever made those, because what's funny is I usually have to collect all these collectibles one at a time, especially those mumbo tokens, man. Like, they put those at just the right spot where you essentially have to like be perfect in your timing. Like, as soon as it slows down, you have to run across it, collect the mumbo token, jump up there, and then run all the way back before the thing starts rotating, and you will fall off very easily and very quickly if you're not careful. But we're gonna go ahead and actually hit that next fan switch, and that will actually slow down the propellers even more. So they will be now moving at a speed where we can actually jump through them as long as they are moving slow. As you can see, they kind of go from fast to slow, but if you time it perfectly or at the right time, you can actually get right through the propellers, and that will lead you to more notes. We have more mumbo tokens, I believe, as well on the other side. Lots of fun stuff to get, but right now we're going to focus on getting this jiggy that is just out here in the open, because why not tease us with an easy jiggy right there, knowing that we have to go ahead and get the most difficult in the game, in my opinion. Yeah, so this is the final jiggy of Rusty Bucket Bay, and what it requires is us to hit this fan switch, the final one right here. And that's actually going to activate a jiggy that is going to be that is going to spawn all the way outside of the boat, underneath the propellers on the outside of the boat. But what I want to do first is make sure I get all these collectibles first, because we do have a timer. The fans will not be shut off completely. So once we hit that final switch, the propellers on the outside of the boat, on the bottom of it, will be completely shut off. And of course, that's where I die. Right there. That's what I'm talking about. Pure hell, man. I'm telling you, pure hell. Oh, shut up, Grunty. After hitting the second fan switch again, as you can see, the propellers on the outside are slowing down, but we still have to hit the other one to shut them off entirely. So that is where I guess the whole gimmick lies. Oddly enough, as difficult as these little platforms right here that spin around look to navigate, they really aren't that difficult. It's really these freaking cylinders right here. I hate these things with a passion. They will always show up in my nightmares from here on out. I swear, they're always there. Even when I'm not even thinking about playing this game, they somehow find a way to make it back into my mind. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and just be quiet, because with great focus comes great success. And I don't know who said that, but I guess I'm just saying it now. But now it is time to hit the third and final fan switch, which will shut the propellers off on the outside entirely. But like I said, the gimmick is we are timed. So we have 65 seconds to make it all the way back out on the outside of the boat, or all the way out of this engine room to the outside of the boat. And then we have to swim down underneath the water and grab that freaking jiggy in the propellers before they turn back on, killing us or stopping us from getting it entirely. I say we attempt it on the first try, so let's do it. 40 seconds, let's go. I can do this. You essentially want to keep moving as fast as possible. Of course, that engine room is the hardest part to navigate. Luckily, unfortunately, somehow I did it. But pretty much once you have those collectibles, it really isn't that hard because you just have to wait for the platforms to stop, allowing you to get across and then out of the boat. Now we're going to go ahead and jump into the water, and this actually might be the most complicated part because you have to quickly jump underwater, dive underneath, and get behind these propellers. And I did it, man. I cannot believe I did that. Boom, I did it. Sorry, I'm a little excited. I don't think I've ever done that quickly or on the first try. Usually takes me at least a second attempt, but I did it right there. Ha! I did it. All right, I need to stop. That's enough. But that is it. That is everything at Rusty Bucket Bay. We are now done here. I cannot believe we just completed the next to last world of the game. There's only one more world left to do. I cannot believe it is already time for that, or this point of the game. It literally feels like I just started this game like a couple days ago. This is just crazy. But now we're gonna go ahead and make our exit. Go ahead and warp through the entrance pad. And we now have some stuff due back at the lair. Many tricks are up my sleeve. To save yourself, you'd better leave. Not a chance, Grunty. We've came this far already. No way in hell are we backing out now. Man, I'm just cussing up a storm in this video. It's very inappropriate, but it's, I guess, very fitting for this episode, apparently. What we want to do is actually swim back underwater. We want to go right through that tunnel that leads into the next room. And if you remember that Jiggy that appeared from the Grunty switch, well, it's actually located right here. And now that the water level is raised high enough, we can simply jump onto this platform and we can go and grab our next Jiggy. And that is number 9. I mean, that means there is one more Jiggy left to find in the lair. I cannot believe we are this close to the end of the game. I still can't believe it. But if you break open this grate up here, you can jump up here. And a little secret passageway awaits. Going in here, this looks familiar, doesn't it? Another water switch. Well, this will raise the water level to the highest point. We are essentially touching the ceiling. We want to make sure we back away from the shrapnel because we do not want him to blow up in our face. That sounded weird. But as you can see, we have the next note door. So next time on Let's Play Banjo-Kazooie, we are going to go ahead and explore what lies in this area here. Are you ready? Well, we'll admire the little walls that are gorgeous blue and green tint. I just love this room. Okay, I don't want to lose my spot here. But next time on Banjo-Kazooie, we go in that passageway. One last little admiration of the cave walls. This is pretty much a cave. Gotta love the N64 graphics. I love it. All right, I will see you later.